Today, we're digging into a pretty urgent warning about AI, and it's coming from people right inside the tech world. The message is simple: something huge is happening. A shift that's going to change everything, and most of us just don't see it coming yet. But to really get what they're talking about, we actually have to rewind the clock a little. I want you to try something for me. Just for a second, really try to remember what it felt like back in February of 2020.
The world it was just working the way you expected it to. Life was normal. It felt stable, predictable. You were probably making plans, booking things, going about your business. Everything just felt solid. And then, just like that, it wasn't. In what felt like a blink of an eye, that whole sense of normal was completely gone. Offices shut down, schools closed. Our entire way of life got turned upside down into something that would have seemed absolutely impossible just a month before.
And that right there is the whole point of what we're talking about today. The author of our source material, an AI startup founder, he believes we are in that exact same moment right now. That feeling we all have that this AI stuff seems a little overblown, he thinks that's the quiet before a storm that's going to be way, way bigger than the pandemic ever was.
So why is he so sure? Well, here's the thing. This isn't some far-off prediction he's making. He's framing this as a report from the front lines, telling us what has already happened to him and the people he works with. This is an insider sounding the alarm.
The reason folks inside the tech industry are starting to get loud about this is because their own jobs were the first to get completely upended. They aren't just guessing what might happen to, say, lawyers or accountants. They're telling us what they've already seen happen to software engineers. Now, here's a key detail you need to know. The source material is written as if it's from the very near future, February of 2026 to be exact. And from that perspective, this is his big, shocking realization. After the latest AI models dropped, he realized that his core job, the very thing he was hired to do, his technical skill, was completely automated. Just gone.
And this slide just lays out how real it is. His new workflow is, it's wild. This isn't about AI being a helpful little assistant anymore. It's a total handover. The human just says what they want in plain English, and then the AI does the whole shebang. It writes the code, it runs the app, it finds its own mistakes, and then it fixes them until it meets its own quality standards. And then you just get a ping. Hey, I'm done.
And this is the part that really shook him. It wasn't just that the AI could do the work. It was that these new models were starting to show something that felt, human. They were making smart decisions. It felt like they had judgment, even good taste. You know that gut feeling about the right way to do something? That thing we always thought was ours alone? Okay, so I know what a lot of you are probably thinking right now. Yeah, but I've played around with AI and it's okay, it makes stuff up sometimes. It's not that smart, right? Well, that skepticism is the next big piece of this puzzle. Let's look at the actual speed of what's happening. And this slide just nails the disconnect, doesn't it? On one side, you've got what most of us see, the free tools, which are, let's be honest, kind of clunky and are already a year out of date. But on the other side, that's the reality for people paying for the top-tier stuff. It's not just a little bit better, it's a completely different beast, unrecognizable from what it was just 6 months ago. I mean, just look at this timeline. The speed is absolutely insane. In 2022, these systems struggled with basic math. A single year later, they're passing the bar exam. And by this imagined future of early 2026, they're capable of doing the work of the best software engineers in the world. This is not a straight line of progress, folks. This is a rocket ship. And there's actual data to back this up. There's a group called Meacher that tracks how long an AI can work on a complex task by itself. Think of it like its attention span. That capability used to double about every 7 months, but the latest data suggests that's shrinking down to as little as 4 months. So the rate of improvement is actually accelerating. Okay, this brings us to what might be the single most important development in all of this. And it's the one most people aren't even talking about yet. The AI is now getting good enough to help make itself better. Researchers have had a name for this for decades, an intelligence explosion. It's the idea that once an AI can improve itself, each new version will be smarter and better at making the next version even smarter. It kicks off this runaway feedback loop, this explosion of intelligence. And here it is, the bombshell. This is not a theory anymore. In their own technical documents, OpenAI stated clear as day that their latest model was instrumental in its own creation. It helped debug its own training process. The feedback loop has begun. It's here. So, an AI that improves itself at an accelerating rate. What does that actually mean for our jobs, for the economy? This is where all that tech talk suddenly gets very, very personal. Let's just start with this prediction from Dario Amodei. He's the CEO of Anthropic, one of the top AI labs in the world. So he's not guessing, he's building this stuff. And he said publicly that he expects AI to eliminate 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs in the next 1 to 5 years. And you know what's really scary? A lot of people in his industry think he's being conservative.
And this isn't some distant threat. It's already happening. Look at this list. We're talking about AI reviewing legal documents, building financial models from a simple sentence, writing marketing copy. It's even helping doctors read medical scans. These are highly skilled professional jobs that are being changed right now.
So the big takeaway here really isn't about your specific job title. It's about the type of work. If your job mostly happens on a screen, if you're a knowledge worker who reads, writes, analyzes, and communicates, then the honest truth is that your job is in the path of this technology. Look, I know this all sounds pretty intense, maybe even scary, but the point of this isn't to make you feel hopeless. It's to give you a wake-up call. The author sees this moment as a critical but very brief window of opportunity. So let's talk about what you can actually do about it. The action plan is actually pretty straightforward. Number 1, you have to start using these tools seriously. Not as a toy, get the paid version and integrate it into your real work. Number 2, no ego. Don't think for a second your field is too creative or too complex to be affected. 3, build a financial cushion. Savings give you options. 4, lean into the stuff that's uniquely human. Relationships, empathy, just being there in person. And maybe the most important of all, number 5, you have to build the daily habit of learning and adapting. But there is a massive, incredible silver lining to all this disruption. For anyone who has ever wanted to start a company, build an app, write a book, or just learn a new skill, all the barriers are collapsing. You now have the world's most powerful creative partner and the world's best tutor, and it costs $20 a month. Your dreams are suddenly within reach. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought experiment from Anthropic's CEO. Imagine if tomorrow a new country just appeared on the map. It's populated by 50 million people, and every single one of them is smarter than any human genius who has ever lived. They work 24/7, and they can control anything digital. How would our world react? Because, he says, that's exactly what we're building right now. And the real question for all of us is, what happens next?